Hello, and welcome to Stocks and Tarot. On this channel, we explore the world of finance through the magic of tarot. This week, we're going to take a look at what the cards have to say about the current earnings season, which has just gotten underway. Be sure to stick around to the end of this video to find out what my intuitive predictions are surrounding the current earnings season. Some of what the cards have to say might really surprise you. Some of it might be a little scandalous, but we'll get to that now. Be sure to also hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and help me grow it. Your support is very much appreciated, so please be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and come back for future videos. Now, before we move on to the most recent reading, I wanted to do a quick follow-up to my last video where I looked at the possible outcome and market reaction to the latest CPI and inflation data, which was released on October 13th. Now, in that video, I made a few predictions that seemed to be unfolding exactly as I saw them. At that time, I said that we were at a moment of new beginnings and a new, more upbeat sentiment was just around the corner. I said that good news is coming and patience is about to pay off. I predicted a prolonged upswing in the markets. Now, to put things in context, when I recorded that video, market sentiment was very bearish and very pessimistic, and we were in the midst of a never-ending multi-week decline in the indices. So to predict an upswing, a lot would have probably considered hopium, and not too many were calling that, but the cards were saying it, so I called it, and so far it seems to be coming true. You know, the S&P all the indices and the S&P all closed much higher at the end of last week. The S&P 500 closed the week almost 5% higher. The Nasdaq over 5% higher since I made that video and made that prediction. That's pretty significant. No, I also said at that time that I saw some commentary coming forward that would help soothe the markets, that, perhaps Fed Chairman Jay Powell was going to toss the markets a bone, and that perhaps he would send the markets a message that some progress is being made on the inflation front, and of course take credit for it because it was all due to their efforts. I predicted that this messaging would have a bullish effect and that the markets would rally. And I also mentioned at that time that I saw something very pivotal coming in the month of November, and it was going to have a very positive effect and indicate a positive shift, an ongoing, more permanent positive shift starting in November. So we shall see how that unfolds. And now, after I made that video, and we fast forward a little bit to over a week later, I came across a video on CNBC where they were saying that they were expecting that Powell would start communicating a pause on rate hikes at the November FOMC meeting. So nobody was talking about this when I recorded this video, and now all of a sudden it's the chatter of the street a week later. And on the same day, more news came out. President and CEO Mary Daly of the Federal Reserve Bank in San Francisco made an announcement that she thought the time had come to start talking about slowing down some rate hikes. Slowing down the rate hikes. So, now that message is starting to come out and they're floating this stuff out there. So it was very off the wall for me to make that prediction on the 12th of October, and there we go. A week later, now it's the talk of the town. So that's, I found, very interesting. We'll see how this all plays out, but so far it's all transpiring exactly as I saw it and exactly as the cards said they would. So we shall see. Now, on to this week's reading. As usual, I took a photo of the spread and just to timestamp it, and posted the spread and my intuitive interpretations on my Facebook page as well. And the question I asked the tarot was, will earnings be good or bad this week? Pretty simple question because it's earnings week. Now, I think it's important to note that going into this current earnings season, the sentiment on Wall Street was that it was going to be a train wreck of an earnings season. The street was very pessimistic, but I saw a different scenario in the cards. Now, here's the cards I pulled. Once we go through the meetings, I'll have an interesting prediction to put out there. That really caught me off guard. But a couple of the cards that popped up were um, so deep that they were very strong and indicated some negativity tossed in with the positivity. But we'll get to that. Anyway, so the cards that I pulled, I had two jumper cards. Now, as I've mentioned in previous videos, jumper cards to me indicate, a framing of the reading. Um, they're clarity cards for me. They're a strong message. If they're jumping out there, it's because the universe wants to say something. They're strong messages, and I pay attention to them. And I also look to jumper cards. Um, as a clarity card. If there's other cards in the reading I'm uncertain of, I'll look at the jumper cards for clarity, and they certainly do help in that regard for me anyway. So the jumper cards I pulled were the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles stands for stable finances and frugality, savings and investments, stinginess and greed. The Ace of Cups was the other jumper card that jumped out, and it stands for abundance, prosperity. It's a good card. It stands for good financial news, stability, opportunities, something new coming down the pipe. So I was very happy to see those cards pop out. Now, onto the actual spread. So I do a three-card spread. And each card represents the recent past, current situation, and the near future. And in this particular spread, in the recent past, was the Three of Wands, which stands for expansion, momentum, growth, confidence, reaping rewards, and success. The current situation was the Queen of Cups. And when she shows up, it indicates that she's a generous card. She's a generous queen. So she represents giving and charity, generosity, vigilance, positive movement. Um, and then in the near future, this was a bit of a surprise, but we got the Seven of Swords in reversed. This is a pretty harsh card. It usually stands for deceit and betrayal. In a reversed position, it's not quite as severe, but it does indicate deception around finances, ignoring advice, and truth being revealed, secrets coming out of the shadows, and deception, fraud, for instance. And I thought that was particularly interesting. Bottom of the deck. I always look at the bottom of the deck. To me, this represents the foundation of the markets, the sentiment, so to speak, in my mind. And the bottom of the deck in this reading was the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands represents financial stability, financial reward, good financial conditions, giving. Again, another generosity indicator there, or a giving card with the Queen of Cups, two cards. So there's some giving coming our way, which is good. Maybe the markets are going to give back some of the money that they've been taking for the last 10 months or so. And I decided to pull a clarity card as well because I only had two jumpers. And the clarity card I pulled was the Magician, again in a reversed position. And now, when the Magician shows up in a reversed position, he stands for um, manipulation, trickery, deception, and unused abilities. So that's two cards now that speak to deception and trickery. And so that was a powerful message for me to take away. So, with all that said, my intuitive prediction on this spread for earnings week, well, there's going to be some very positive earnings reported this week. I think the positive results at the end of the week are going to surprise some folks. However, with that said, there's some very shady activity going on with some companies who will be reporting this week, and that's, again, as I mentioned, indicated by the Seven of Swords reversed and the Magician reversed. And the shady activity is going to come out. Is going to be exposed this week. I don't know if there's going to be fraud, or a fudging of numbers, which I guess is fraud, or there's going to be something hidden, that was hidden, that's going to surface, and it's going to be scandalous. It's going to cause a lot of chatter. I think it's going to catch a lot of people by surprise, and it will be. I see scandal, over this. Um, of course, those companies' stock prices are gonna tank, so expect that to happen. But overall, I see a very positive earnings, season, this week, or a very positive week in regards to earnings. I see that. And I also see that the markets will see some stability, coming out of this earnings week. So, you know, sentiment prior to earnings, this season, was very, very negative. A lot of Wall Street thought that this was going to be a train wreck of an earnings season, but the cards are saying something very different. So we shall see how this all plays out, and only time will tell. Anyway, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting videos regularly on various financial topics and financial news of the day. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.